Hello, how are you? My name's Nicole, also known as MiniaturePug on this channel, and today I thought I'd do something a little bit different. So every Monday I'm going to be doing something a little bit, not random because it is organised, but in the sense of it's different every Monday. This Monday we are going to be doing a reaction. This reaction is to K-pop thoughts on Reddit. So I'm going to read over a couple of K-pop thoughts. I'm going to say what I think, basically, and hopefully if I say something that you don't agree with, that's okay. I'm just going to put that out there because I'm scared of people. Okay, so the first one is, this was done 19 hours ago. Can we talk about the ageism and the recency bias in the K-pop industry? If you've been keeping up with Taemin or Kiss of Life or TXT, you probably know what I'm going to talk about. A few days ago, Taemin hopped on live like he always does and started chatting with fans, and then he mentioned that he was sad and disappointed because he wanted to perform Guilty at the end of year shows, and he even envisioned the whole performance and tried to discuss this possibility with some higher-ups, and his proposal got refused. Some people say it's SM, some people say it's the show organisers, nobody knows for sure. Obviously, this raised some eyebrows because Taemin is a great performer and he's still in demand considering how many festivals and he was invited to this year, even before releasing his solo album, and his solo concert was a massive success in terms of attendance and sales. A few days later, Kiss of Life covered the song during the SMA, and today TXT's Yeonjun covered it during the GDA. I want to start off by saying that I genuinely have nothing against these two. I'm happy that Kiss of Life are getting attention, and I think Yeonjun's cover of the choreography was good as well. But isn't it a little sad that instead of having senior artists perform their own songs, especially when these songs are personal to them, they're having newer and younger acts covering them instead? Isn't this a little disrespectful to the artist? I wouldn't be too bothered by it if it was an older song, but Guilty is only 2 months old and Taemin is still promoting it. It's not fair to deprive him of his chance to promote and perform his own work while simultaneously refusing to acknowledge him or even invite him to these shows. I understand that covers are honouring, and I understand that the artists are not intending to disrespect Taemin by covering his songs, and I would never accuse them of such a thing. But in this case, seeing how Taemin himself has expressed the desire to perform his own song leaves a bad taste in my mouth, but I will say it again, this criticism is not aimed at the artist. Also, I do not condone any of the edgy Taemin stans who are spreading hate against and Yeonjun. It's childish and it's misdirected anger, but I will say that seeing 4th gen group stands referring to him as an irrelevant hag, and this is why K-pop award shows are making rookies cover his songs instead. An insult that I've seen so many times over the last few days, lol. That's horrible. Is a little depressing. Not because I believe that Taemin is indeed an irrelevant hag, he's far from that, but I need K-pop stans to understand that their favs will not stay young and at their prime forever. They too will get to the same point as Taemin right now, and they will be faced with the same problems, and this is why we should have this conversation. Making fun of K-pop idols for no longer being young tells me that you're willing to leave your faves for the faves for the next new, younger, popular group, and this is one of my biggest problems with the K-pop industry and fan culture, and this is exactly why K-pop companies keep debuting minors and barely legal teens. Every artist deserves to be respected, and K-pop idols shouldn't have an expiration date. It's very true. Very true. So in conclusion, I have nothing against covers, and I think they're a way of showing appreciation to the original artist, but denying someone's request to perform just to make younger people do it in an industry that thrives on consumerism and child/youth exploitation is very iffy to me. Edit. So some people pointed out that SM artists did not attend the GDA this year. If that's the case, and this could be one of the reasons why he wasn't able to perform. I'm not pointing fingers at anyone specifically. I'm well aware that Taemin did not talk about the GDA in his live stream, and as I stated above, no one knows for sure what happened. I'm just expressing my discontent with this situation, and I wanted to start a conversation about ageism. Okay, let's see what people have said. Moderator announcement. Okay, no, that's fine. Nayeon talked about wanting to go to the end of year show with the rest of Twice recently since they haven't done it in a while, so now I wonder if it's about their busy schedule or if it's them not receiving invitations anymore to attend. Oh, I think it's definitely because of not receiving invitations, but Twice at this point are legacy art and would gain millions of views for their performances. Since they're very popular, I feel like it would make sense to invite them. I wonder if award shows only want the current idols to attend, which is a shame since older idols are really good at hyping up the audience and idols as well. That's sad. Twice stopped going to Mama and year-end shows in 2020 despite having alcohol-free in 2021, which was popular with the Korean public. I don't think they would plan on going. Most don't after around 5 years in. I didn't know that. Nyan was just reminiscing. But it just doesn't make sense to me. Won't Twice be more profitable to invite than younger group? This really reminds me of Jaejung. He's pretty insecure about his age. It breaks my heart. Even sometimes younger idols act surprised when they get to know his age. I'm sure they mean no harm, but Jaejung is still young. Let's stop pretending people in their late 20s and 30s are like people in their 80s. It's so effing heartbreaking and disrespectful. That's true. That is true. This person says, I mean, look how Mnet and Boys Planet fans treated Hui, who's the same age as Taemin. Mnet always made sure to highlight Hui's age. He was considered an old man who could no longer sing or dance since he's not young anymore. Taemin's only 29. Even international fans refer to Hui as a grandpa who should retire, and I repeat that he's the same age as Taemin. During the show, Hui himself was telling ZB1 Gyuvin that he knows people don't want an idol in his 30s. He was 29 during the show. Gyuvin and Gunwook have said in On Guard is the hardest choreography they've ever done, and nothing they've done after debuting as ZB1 so far compares to it. Hui was the leader and main vocal of On Guard and kept up with the choreo. No matter how Mnet would diminish his skills, he always aced every stage. The trainees loved him and he was someone they relied on. For example, ZB1 Jiwoong has said that Hui was the one who helped him when he was at his lowest and wanted to give up. Even those who are 11, 14 years younger than him were very attached to Hui and have mentioned they didn't feel the age gap. At least he seems to be doing well now. He recently performed a duet with Fly to the Sky's Hwan Hee and other seniors where he was the youngest. He said that working with them made him realise he's still young and with many things to learn, and he's having a solo debut on the 16th where the main theme is Hui getting rid of his complexes. 29 is young. Jaejung is only 37. For reference, he's not even middle-aged and people act like he's digging in his damn grave. As a certified hag stan, my favourite K-pop song of all time is from 1995, but also a teen. It makes me hella sad when my faves think of themselves as old, but in an industry where youth is basically a currency, can you really blame them? Jaejung has been singing longer than New Jeans members have been alive. I'd feel old as F too, not gonna lie. This is a problem in entertainment industries as a whole. Like I remember that one Simpsons skit from the 90s where it's supposed to be an MTV host on location at Spring Break and they replace her on air because she's like 22, but fans also buy into it. I guess because so many are young, but in general everyone is terrified of aging or appearing older and people throw age around age like it's an insult. So in this case I don't think it's just K-pop's fault. It's a reflection of our societies overall. Being young is what's important. The older you get, especially as a woman, the less relevant you are and no one pays attention to you. And fans feed it. Anyone not brand new and breaking records is washed up or flops. The older idols are tired and can't keep up with the young ones, and an attractive idol who is 30 plus looks good for their age, and that's a compliment. I'm 33 and it's just kind of funny in a sad way because all these kids really don't think they're going to be 30 plus one day, but you will be. Anyway, K-pop fans also need to support the older artists and not be so flighty. I mean, I think we have all seen how K-pop stans treat Boa. She's only 37 and they treat her like she is a mummy. Not even going to mention how they treat idols like Irene. Hell, I have seen people call Jennie a hag and grandma, and she is only turning 28 this year. Lol. I think I can relate to this because as someone who wants to get into the entertainment industry, I am very reluctant to reveal my age, and I always have done. Even when I was a teenager, I'm very reluctant to reveal my age because I know that once you get to a certain age, people won't look at you anymore. Once you reveal your age, people don't want to look at you because unless you're young, you're irrelevant. Unless you're a teenager, you're irrelevant. And the reason why you're irrelevant is because, again, you're not young. You're not, well, I say you're not young, but the thing is though, is you're young still in your 20s and your 30s. Like if you were to die in your 30s or your 40s or your 50s, people go, that's far too young. But yet in the entertainment industry, that's old. I hate it. I genuinely hate it. I constantly feel like I am on a time frame because I want to get into the industry. I constantly feel like if I wait another year, that's it. That's my life done. That's my chances of going into the entertainment industry gone because I'm now too old next year to do anything. That is genuinely how I feel every single year. Like, I am now too old to do this. I am now too old to do that. And I'm not. I'm still in my 20s. And I've been feeling like this since I was a teenager, where I felt like if I turn 18 and I haven't got anywhere, that's it. That I'm not getting anywhere. So yeah, I understand this completely. And it doesn't need to change. Just not just in K-pop, but in entertainment. It's to stop being this pressure on age because is we're all going to get old. We're all going to get older. Like, stop making people feel so awful and so irrelevant just because of how old they are. That makes no difference at all. That makes no difference on what their skill bases are. That makes no difference on what they can do. It's ridiculous. I'm going to move on. So let's have a look. Let's have a little look at this one. Ex-K-pop star reveals past 13-year relationships stretching before, during and after idol career. Oh, okay, I didn't know about this. Spoilers for Transit Love / Exchange. So that is a show, I think. I have never heard of it. If you're watching it and you don't want to have spoilers, skip this one. Dahi, Bestie, I know Bestie, is on a popular dating show, Exchange, where multiple ex-couples live with each other for a few weeks and explore whether they want closure and to meet other people or to get back together. It was revealed in episode 3 that she had been in a 13-year relationship from 2010 to 2023, starting before she debuted, lasting until long after her departure. Watching the full backstory was the heartbreaker. The two were originally trainees at another unnamed agency. When their company found out about their relationship, a rep came to both of them separately and privately to tell them that only one of the two could stay. They both offered to give up on their spot, and as a result, both were cut. Dahi eventually debuted under a different agency, but her partner never got another chance and was forced to be even more secretive about their relationship once Bestie formed. They both sacrificed so much for each other. On days where her only free time was a few hours to sleep, she would neglect it altogether and spend that time instead with him. He started to act as her manager purely for the opportunity to support her and stay in her presence during her busy schedule. Ultimately, it fizzled out because the guy realised he had basically lived his entire youth for her sake and not his own. As he started to pursue his own passions and to live for himself, he concluded that it was right to end it despite her pleas against it. Such a sad story and a microcosm of so many aspects of the industry. Young, passionate teens getting exposed to cutthroat corporate management, dating restrictions and working hours being absurd, and the self-sacrifice that comes with it. That is awful. I've been around K-pop for a pretty long time, and I think this is easily one of the most heartbreaking stories I've ever read. She would have been 17 when they started dating and 30 when the relationship ended. They were put in an awful position from the beginning, and the pressures against dating makes it sound like it was doomed from the start. Even though it wasn't Dahi's fault, I wouldn't be surprised if the guy associated her with a premature ending to his idol career. Oh, that's so sad. Oh, what other ones are there? What's up with groups these days all losing members? It's pretty early in their career. It's just so common these days, especially amongst girl groups, to lose a member, and I don't even get why that keeps happening these days, as this never really happened before. A Seraphim, Illit, Baby Monster, and Mixed G Idol, just to name a few. It's just really ominous. Every time a big agency announces a big girl group, I just think, will they lose a member again? I don't know. Seraphim and Idol, they were a slightly separate situation where Karam from La Seraphim, she was accused of being a bully, if you're not aware, and so was Sujin from Idol. She was also accused of being a bully, and because of that, both of these members were kicked out of their groups. It later revealed, I think with both of them, that they weren't actually a bully at all. It was false claims, and yet they were still kicked out of their groups, never came back. It's slightly different with those ones. With NMIX, I don't think anybody's going to know the truth about that one. Baby Monster, from what I hear, I thought she wasn't gone from the group. I thought she was taking a break before she actually came back in, but don't quote me on that one. I can't actually remember everything. Illit, I'm not gonna lie, I don't actually know that group. But yeah, it's not a new thing. Members from groups always leave, and a lot of times quite early on in the career, before that 7-year curse mark anyway. So they, like Rainier, look at Rainier. They had a constant lineup change, and now they're called a completely different group because none of the original members are there, and I think they just found it easier just to call it something different. I think they're called Black Swan now, I think. But yeah, you had members leave from Kara. You had members leave from Wonder Girls. Hyuna, she was an original Wonder Girls member and she left very shortly afterwards. AOA, they had members leave. Girls' Generation, Jessica left. I'm not going to go into that because that still hits me to this day. Glam, they were another one where the member left literally as soon as they debuted. She said she didn't want to be part of that. She didn't want to be a celebrity anymore. I think, I can't remember, was her name Trinity? I can't remember. And then you've got like After School, they did the revolving thing, like one member leaves, another person comes in. It's not a new thing. It's happened, and it will still happen, where some people will want to leave because they go into the industry and they think they want to do it, they get into it, they start it, and they realise it's not for them. So yeah, it's always going to happen. That one's okay. Ooh, what's this one? The current state of active third gen girl groups. In early 2022, there was a post called "The Only Remaining Active Third Gen Girl Groups Korea." Korea Boo even made an article of that post. Now, 2 years later, I think it would be interesting to revisit the topic. In the original, now deleted post, there are 11 girl groups listed in alphabetical order: Blackpink, Dreamcatcher, Hi Cutie, Labom, I can never pronounce their name, Mamamoo, Momoland, Oh My Girl, Red Velvet, Twice, Weki Meki, and WJSN. Let's take a look at these groups and their status, and even add one more group to the list. Groups that are still alive and kicking: Blackpink, Dreamcatcher, Oh My Girl, Red Velvet, Twice, and new entry Alice, because they used to be Elris. Groups that are now mostly subgroups and soloists: Mamamoo, Hi Cutie. I'll be completely honest, I'm not 100% aware of Hi Cutie. Groups that are now inactive but not disbanded: Weki Meki, WJSN, and disbanded are Labum and Momoland. Blackpink will be interesting to watch how their new setup will shape their group releases. Alice, Hi Cutie, Mamamoo once more, Red Velvet once more, and Weki Meki will run into the end of their contract this year as far as I understand. Weki Meki and WJSN have not had a comeback in over a year. I have no idea why this is happening with WJSN since they extended their contracts. Now with the disbandment of two groups, two more being inactive for over a year, and two groups now being mostly two-member subgroups and soloists, I think the new list of actively promoting third-gen groups can be shrunk down to 6. Alice, Blackpink, Dreamcatcher, Oh My Girl, Red Velvet, and Twice. If you have any more entries to the list, please let me know so I can add them. Okay, that's just it's just what's going on. I never understood the whole third generation, fourth generation, first generation. Okay, they're just groups. Groups. Artists are artists. They come out when they come out. I don't understand this whole generation thing. Did turning into an adult change the way you consume K-pop? For context, I started listening to K-pop when I was 18, so I was technically an adult back then. I just turned 21 and some really major life changes are coming my way. I'm living in a new country by myself for the better part of this year and have so many more grown-up responsibilities, all of a sudden, like worrying about my work performance and my internship and getting a full-time job offer with whatever is going on in my industry's job market. Just today, it hit me that I no longer have time or energy to watch content or keep up with my favourite idols in the same way. K-pop was something that I got into when I was lonely after moving to college, and I would say it's what I have dedicated most of my time/thoughts to for the past 3 years. I know that I've relied on my favourite groups too much to distract me from life, but this week has been a reality check for me. I was just watching a Wavy performance, and halfway through I stopped being able to enjoy it because I knew I needed to focus on figuring out my situation first. Has anyone else went through this? I still love my faves, but also think it's time I focus more on myself. I just feel really lost when it comes to navigating that. I think with that, when you're a teenager, you have a lot more free time. You have more free time. Once you finish school, you can come home and you're still living with your parents and you can just do whatever you want. And if that is watching K-pop and watching groups, go for it. That's what you spend your time doing. But as you get older, you realise that, you have a job. You have your own place. You've got to sort things out for yourself as soon as you become an adult. And you don't have time for that sort of stuff anymore. Like, for example, I know that my knowledge on K-pop now is nowhere near as big as it used to be years ago when I first got into it, because I don't listen to it as much anymore. All of these groups that are out now, I haven't got a clue. I know the older groups, I know the older songs, and I still listen to the older songs. And when I'm walking to work, or if I'm just relaxing, I will put on Spotify and I'll either listen to old stuff, or if I'm feeling like it, I will listen to new stuff just to see the new things that are out, or just because of the fact that I do dance covers, I kind of need to know something. I need to know kind of what's happening and what's going on. But other than that, I haven't got a clue. Like Wavy, you ask me to name a song from Wavy, I haven't got a clue. I cannot name one single song from Wavy because I'm so behind on K-pop. I don't know what new songs are out unless they're from artists that I've already listened to. Won't have a clue. So It's just a part of growing up. It's just like, I used to go on games every single day. Every single day. Now I don't have that time to do that. I'm an adult and I live in my own place and I got to look after my place and I have a full-time job and I've got YouTube. So I need to, it's a part of growing up, and it's a sad time when you actually realize it. And when you get older, you will also look back and think, oh wow, I had a lot more time back then and I don't anymore. So yeah, that's normal. That's okay. We'll do one more. Okay. Some of these are quite similar. Let's go back to the top. Let me go. Yeah. Okay, what's... No. I don't know what I want to look at. Why are ITZY such great dancers? Isn't that a good thing? Okay, let's have a look at this one. Feeling very lucky I became a K-pop follower in 2012. I think I became a K-pop follower in 2011, so I think I might be able to relate to this depending on how I feel. So, not to say K-pop isn't still excellent, I tend to think it is. Some of the catchiest arrangements I have ever heard come out of these current gen / younger groups. But being there as a teenager back then, I'm 28 now, in 2012, and seeing how the genre has changed so much in some ways has been really fascinating. I guess I typically enjoy the older era, SNSD, 21, Big Bang, IU, etc., and can see how all of the groundwork has been expanded upon by newer artists. SNSD were also my entry and still current alt to the genre, so that is exactly the same as me to the genre. So seeing how much they've changed to 2012 over 10 years only has been really fascinating too. They were being called old hags back then, let alone now. LMAO. I don't remember them being called old hags back then, because they were only around for 5 years. I don't remember them being called old hags back in 2012. 2015, I think that was the year that they were starting to be called old. They're still not old, okay? I love SNSD, they're not old. It has also helped me realise the industry has, in a sense, liberalised a lot since those days. There are so many groups who are successful in different ways now. It used to just be physicals and downloads. Wednesday, follow, and then we'd brag about YouTube views when they became relevant. Now they're almost certainly not. Anyway, just some random thoughts I had whilst watching a compilation of recent girl group releases. Also a funny thought, Twice are turning 9 this year, and I was in the trenches of being a Sony watching SNSD's records get slowly overtaken by them and Blackpink back in the day. Now I have no idea who is the best-selling artist because I'm hardly keeping up. If I were less in the know, I'd assume 50-50 with the It Girls at the moment because that Cupid song was everywhere I go. Okay, that was done 1 day ago. So, yes, K-pop has changed since then. SNSD are still being called old, and a lot of people that get into K-pop now, they actually don't know who SNSD is, and that scares me because I've been to K-pop events and Girls' Generation songs have come on and people don't have a single clue of what they're listening to, and that scares the bejeebus out of me. But yeah, Twice are turning 9 this year. They have been called old, I know that, which is wrong. Again, this is going back to a previous one that we've looked at. These groups are not old. Okay, they're not old. Every member of SNSD is in their 30s and not even in their mid 30s yet, still in their early 30s. Okay, that's not old. They've been around since 2007. The oldest member at the time was 18. That's young. Okay, that's a child. The youngest member was 15. That's even more of a child. So let's not call them old, okay? 2007 was not that long ago. It was 16 years ago this year, but it's not... Oh, wait, it's 17 years ago this year, but it's still not old, okay? Yes, it's an old song, but they're not old. They're not middle-aged. Stop it. Assuming 50-50 with the It Girls, I'm guessing this person hasn't read anything about 50-50. Yes, and... no, they are, but they're not, because only one member is currently 50-50. Yeah. I won't go into it because there's a lot of things I don't agree with in that whole situation, and it's a big sticky subject. But the It girl group, either IVE or New Jeans or IVE. The Seraphim close behind. I would say those are the it girls. I don't think anybody has surpassed Blackpink still in terms of views. I think they're still the top. I think they're more than BTS, to be honest, especially on Spotify. I think Spotify released a thing a couple of days ago where they announced like the top K-pop artists, and Blackpink was number one, and then it was BTS, and then it was Stray Kids, and then Twice, I think. I can't remember. I know the first two were Blackpink and BTS, but Blackpink were first. But yeah, SNSD are still my favourite too. They're still my ultimate group. They're my favourite group of all time. They're the ones that got me into K-pop. I listened to The Boys when it first came out, and then that led me into this deep dark hole of K-pop. So yeah, that's all I'm going to look at today. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you want to see more of this, then let me know and I'll see if I can do more. So hope you have a good time, and I'll see you soon. Bye.